I am Aditi Balbir, founder of Vresorts. We promote ecotourism across India. Currently, we have 160 properties across 21 states. And our whole idea is that people who are harried, who are looking for breaks from the city, they go to our various resorts. So you will find our places clustered around the main metros. So at our company, we don't think of sustainability as a choice. We're not doing some things to appear sustainable. For us, sustainability is actually built around the business that we do, all the way from building local experiences. So what we do is that we tie in local communities with everything that we do. So we start with building local experiences for customers. People take village walks, they do treks, they do whole sorts of activities, maybe meals, things like that. We also tie up with local entrepreneurs to foster local activities. So if something is not happening before, we actually create that activity and then we'll get a local entrepreneur to take ownership of that. We procure locally, so we do not have any centralized procurement. About 100% of the food and the things that we give is all locally sourced, which also means that there is no standardization of menus across across the properties, and we like to promote whatever is local. You get the local dishes. We also recruit locally. 90% of the recruitment is local. We also, obviously, there is a need for training. So we have a training school based in Delhi. We get our staff to come down and they get basic training in 4 verticals in hospitality. So in this particular way, we are basically trying to do everything and to build the business around sustainability to make the incomes of the local people grow as and when tourists come into our property. So, actually you don't have to think of it as a sustainable resort. It's basically a resort. So the idea is to be very careful about people's comforts. So we're not promoting rural tourism. So that doesn't mean that you go into the village and you're spending the night with them. Their comforts are very well taken care of. In fact, if you look at, they're all boutique properties. We have facilities that any 4-star would provide. So in that sense, because that is the basic premise is set, and the basic premise will always remain hospitality, people are very happy to come to us. When they come to us, they don't really realize what experiences they're going to get, because they're going to go into these villages. Many of these kids haven't, our children haven't really seen a village, right? So they're going to go and see how we lived before. They're going to go and work with the artisans, work with people who are making interesting products. They get to do interesting activities, things that you would be very happy doing in Europe, but in India you wouldn't think of, like say fruit picking, things like that. That's what we like to promote, and I think the response that we're getting is tremendous, because while you just think you're going for a weekend break to some place, you end up getting much more than what you bargained for, because it's not just a nice break from the city. You're also going to get to see how people lived before and to really touch base with your roots. So I think people are quite happy. People who come to us are very happy. I think scale would be difficult, also because these properties are all small. So they're all about 15-20 rooms. Operationally, it will be very, very distributed. We already have, like I said, we have presence in 21 states, and the idea is to be present across the geography. So we are liaising with the government for a whole host of things. A lot of places where we go have no basic infrastructure. We have to work from things, we have to work from the scratch, build the basic roads, get all that done also. So I think it's very, very high on development. It's very high on promoting offbeat places in India, and it's actually really Mr. Modi's dream, which is that you bring tourists to places and automatically economy thrives. So that's really what we are going to do. I've talked to you about the concept of sustainable menus. So this is food which is firstly locally sourced. It has to be within 200 kilometers radius. In fact, we have sourced all our vegetables from a 100 kilometer radius, I think barring one. The second thing is that the food has to be in season. So we've only picked the foods that are in season. We're not going to do anything which is off season. The third thing is that there is a concept of clean 15 and dirty dozen. So there are 12 foods which are supposed to have the highest pesticide content, and 15 foods which are naturally clean. Like for example, one of them is bengan, because the skin of bengan actually has natural pesticides, so you don't need an artificial pesticide. So we've actually picked fruits and vegetables. Same with the mango. The mango skin is so hard and so thick that the pesticide won't permeate into its flesh. So keeping that in mind, this is what we've been able to curate today.